Hello YouTube! Do you recognize the motor? Some of you do. It's the Mercedes OM603 6-cylinder 3-liter diesel. What is it? It's the 2-well valve version. The newer ones, OM606, are 4-well valves per cylinder. So this is a little bit smaller in that, but it's the same bottom end on them. This one is supposedly having 500,000 kilometers, 50,000 kilometers on it, and that was the seller told me, so it can be even more than. So I'm going to lift this one up and put it on my new engine stand and see how the bearings in the crankshaft are, and take a look in the pan if everything looks okay. But first I'm going to eat a pizza. See you later. Man, that was a hustle. It's the first time I'm testing this engine mounting tool, so there are still some things to learn and maybe modify some parts too. I missed the centrum of weight by a lot, so it's super top heavy right now. So I need to get centrum of this one up here somewhere. But until then I'm going to lock it down here so it won't turn over on itself. That should be enough. So now it's just to get it into the garage. So now I have repositioned the center of the engine, so yeah, you can see how it is now. I did get I noticed it's a heavy ass engine. This plate, I was thinking about like why build a engine stand? They are dirt cheap on the internet, but I built one myself, and I do think I built it a little bit sturdier than the cheap ones on eBay and such. And even though I did that, I have a crack in this plate now, and this bolt I turned down in the lathe to press fit it into this plate, and it's TIG welded in this side, poorly TIG welded, but nevertheless, and MIG weld on this side, and I already have a crack in one of the welds. So before I go any further, I want to weld in that one so it don't get any worse. But it's perfect in center now. I can turn the engine upside down with the wood still in place for protection and to have tools on. So this way it's perfect now. So just re-weld that one and hope for the best. I'm impressed what a great punch it is. In such a small welder I can make really big. Now I did preheat it, granted, but I'm still impressed by this machine. It's damn powerful. I am going to tip it around and make a more secure weld on the other side too when I have the gear here, so why not do it? used to be a good practice to paint things, because I would never notice those cracks if it haven't been painted. So that's why I'm painting it again, but in a different color. So, welcome into the shed. It's poor lighting. It's so damp that the floor is wet and it leaks in water in one place in the roof, but it's better than being outside all the time. I'm planning to remove the oil pan and look inside to see if everything looks moderately okay, or if this engine is just junk. But before I swing it around, I want to remove the valve cover and the oil filter housing so I get the oil out. If I turn it around as is now, the oil will find its way out anyhow, but slowly. So I might as well just pick it off and put buckets and rags underneath and get it done with before removing the pan. So let's do that. First glimpse looks okay. So, bad news. There are metal in the pan. But it's not magnetic. So it's aluminium shavings. It might be just as bad, but that's curious. Something is eating into the aluminium somewhere. It's not a lot either. It's just maybe 10 small specks, but they are big enough to be worrisome. That something has broken inside the engine. But let's hope that it is something outside the things I need. It's something I can live without later on. No, wait! My fault. It's plastic. I don't know if it zooms in on my hand yet. It's plastic shavings. And I got one on the oil pickup too. I wonder if it's the... Yeah, it looks like where the chain rides are plastic. And plastic hopefully goes straight to the pan and stays in the pan. So with any luck, it's just all good. Just need to replace the timing chain and its plastic sleeves that it goes in. So that's good news. Besides that, the pan looks all right. I don't see any bearing materials or anything like that. It's not safe just because it looks like this, but it feels good at least. Let's carry on. This is just getting better and better. When I look down here, I don't know if you can see it on camera, this engine got the oil squirters. This part I'm pointing at now is an oil squirter that feeds up oil, sprinkled oil onto the rods and the piston to cool it down. And on the OM603, as far as I knew, this should only be on the turbo versions. So I wonder if it's the 28mm rods. The small end on the non-turbo ones is 26mm and the turbo one is 28. And since I got the oil squirters on this block, there is a chance that I got 28mm rods too. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a turbo block I've gotten. But I'm not sure. Maybe the newer OM603, just as the OM606 always came with the squirters. So that this is such a new block. Because I noticed it got the turbo return line over here too. Let me show you that. As you can see here, I got the turbo return line with a cover on it, but it's in the block. It's ready for turbo. And the other OM603 I have in the other car, this is just cast iron. You can drill it out, but it's not prepared for it. But this one do have that one, so maybe it's a turbo block. Am I ever so lucky? Happy days! So, I think that's enough for this time. Have cleaned up the oil pan, more for aesthetics than anything, and I didn't find any more metal or anything. It's just plastic in the sump, and more than likely that's from the drive chain for the camshaft or this oil pump. I will have to look into that to see if it's an old something that broke and went down in the pan and then they changed it, but we'll see. I'm super excited about this one having the squirters, so I am keen to remove one rod and somehow figure out if this is the 28mm rods or the 26. If it would be the turbo version 28mm, I would be very happy. nevertheless, I'm happy about this one having the squirters in the block. That's just wonderful. I still don't know why. Maybe some YouTuber out there knows why, because this is a natural aspirated engine. I got the air filters and the headers and everything for it. So if it's like that on the newer OM603s, that some year did have that, or if it's an old turbo block they reused or something like that. But I don't have the right tools to get the rods out anyhow, and I have to take apart more stuff then. So that's for another episode. So stay tuned for more. Bye bye.